When the DA was in power in Johannesburg for a very short while, we were fixing 150 kilometers of water pipes a year. And now that the EFF, the PA, those guys there who want water, they're in power, those guys, they come to ask the DA for water. That means they're going to vote for the DA to bring the DA.
To go and cut the water lines and then make sure that there's failure by the local authority to deliver water, leading to the alternative of relying on them to transport water because they make money out of transporting water. There's no dignity for our people to be standing alongside the street just tapping water from a truck where somebody is making a lot of money. This must end.
The corruption that is happening at a local level, particularly if you consider the issue of water tankers, we know who are the people who are doing this. There is nothing that happens that is corruption related at a local municipality or at a municipality without a politician knowing, without a municipal official knowing. That is a fact. What is the problem? The problem is that unfortunately, our SAPs, our law enforcement agencies, have for such a long time really not had the support, the financing, the budget to really enable them to fight crime.
The human rights of the residents here are being violated by the fact that they don't have a primary human right, which is access to clean drinking water. Now, you mentioned Hurst Hill, and we understand that the Hurst Hill Reservoir has not been maintained by the Johannesburg City Council for many years. It has cracks in it, it can't be filled, and that is the reason that the people living in these communities don't have water.
And suddenly there are all these very important business people who drive around in fancy cars, but who have water trucking businesses, when water should be transported through pipes. No, what they do, they get their henchmen to go and cut the water lines.
And what then happens is in communities is that when somebody reports to say, I know a brother X, for example, who is doing this, who is closing valves, who is doing this in order to enable person C, to come in with his water trucks to be able to then provide water to communities. That person, once you are a whistleblower in South Africa, we know what has happened to whistleblowers. And that is the biggest crisis that we're also kind of looking at from a corruption point of view. So we will need an intergovernmental approach in order to be able to deal with the issue of corruption, in order to be able to deal with the issue of tankering, because it is unsustainable. The city of Tshwane at one point had spoken about increasing their budget for tankering to over 200 million. It's absurd.
They're here to ask for water, and we tell them you can get water if you vote for the DA into office here. That is the answer. Today, because the pipes are so broken, because the reservoirs are so broken, Johannesburg loses more water every month than the whole of Tshwane uses. Johannesburg loses more water to leaks and bad maintenance than the whole of Tshwane uses. And water comes from the heavens, and people have to put their buckets outside like they did before there were pipes and before there were taps. And they have to harvest their own water.
People who make it their business to go and cut water lines, to create businesses for themselves so that they can cut water in trucks and tanks to our people. Now, that is the criminality that has now entered the water space. And this is what we must collectively talk about here and find ways of bringing that to an end. That should end is a must. We must bring that to an end.
In fact, if the city of Johannesburg, instead of running all kinds of corrupt and lavish schemes, had just invested in basic maintenance, this would not have happened. And that is what happens when people have a government that really doesn't care about them and just cares about enriching cadres. And we are saying to all the people living here, In DA-run municipalities, this doesn't happen because we always invest in maintenance and make sure that